Power isn't always loud. It's not the person who shouts the most, or the one who dominates every room with flashy words and gestures. True power is often silent, disciplined, and almost invisible, until it needs to strike. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled the greatest empire of his time, reminded himself daily that calmness is strength. That lesson remains just as urgent for us today. When you walk into a room, when you deal with conflict, when you, negotiate your future, what truly sets you apart isn't the noise you make, but the control you have over yourself. The people who master this control, who embody calm authority, create a presence that others can't ignore. This isn't about manipulation. It's about discipline, clarity, and power rooted in self-mastery, the very essence of Stoicism. In this video, I'm going to share 5 Stoic tactics that make people respect you without you ever asking for it. These are principles drawn from the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, leaders who proved that resilience, restraint, and inner strength command more respect than fear or aggression ever could. If you apply these tactics, you'll stop chasing respect, and instead, respect will naturally gravitate toward you. So listen carefully, because these 5 tactics have the power to change how you carry yourself in every situation, from conversations with friends, to confrontations at work, to the silent battles within your own mind. The first Stoic tactic that earns instant respect is silence. Seneca once said, "It is better to conquer your grief than to deceive it," and silence is the beginning of that conquest, over your emotions, over your impulses, and over the chaos around you. Think about the people who constantly interrupt, argue, or react impulsively. They may win a moment of attention, but they lose authority. Why? Because authority requires restraint. The person who controls the room is rarely the loudest. It's the one who observes, listens, and chooses their words with precision. When you respond with silence instead of immediate reaction, people notice. They lean in, they wait, they wonder what you're thinking. That pause, just a few seconds of stillness, creates a power dynamic where you're no longer chasing respect, but commanding it. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that a man's worth is measured by the things he allows to disturb him. Silence is proof that you will not be disturbed. Here's the practical side. Next time someone tries to provoke you, don't jump into defense mode. Pause, breathe, observe. That silence alone will unsettle them more than any argument you could make. And when you do speak, your words will carry the weight of discipline, not desperation. The second Stoic tactic that makes people respect you is consistency. Seneca reminded us that what we do every day matters more than what we say once. Your actions are the true reflection of your philosophy. Words can inspire, but only consistent behavior builds trust, and trust is the foundation of respect. Think about it. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can say they're disciplined, loyal, or strong. But when your life proves it day after day, you no longer have to convince anyone. People begin to recognize that you are not swayed by moods, excuses, or the passing winds of circumstance. And in a world where most people abandon their principles at the first sign of difficulty, consistency becomes rare, and rare things are always respected. Epictetus taught that we should not explain our philosophy, but embody it. If you claim to value honesty, then let honesty shine through your smallest choices. If you say you're disciplined, then let your habits speak louder than your mouth. This is why the Stoics journaled daily, why they trained their minds as much as their bodies, because character isn't built in one act of strength, but in a lifetime of consistent practice. In practical terms, here's how consistency wins respect. When you are reliable, people trust your word without question. When you hold yourself to your own standards, even silently, others begin to admire and imitate you. You no longer need to demand loyalty. It flows naturally, because people can see you live what you preach. And just like silence, consistency is a kind of quiet power. It doesn't scream, it doesn't boast, but it endures. And endurance is something people bow to. The third Stoic Tactic that commands respect is the ability to respond with proportionate power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This wasn't weakness, it was clarity. The Stoics believed that strength lies not in overreacting, but in choosing the right response at the right time. Look at the people who lose their temper at small provocations. They reveal insecurity, not strength. The more you explode at minor issues, the less authority you project. On the other hand, when you reserve your strength for the moments that truly matter, you show discipline, and people learn not to test you. This doesn't mean you remain passive in the face of injustice. Quite the opposite. It means you pick your battles carefully, and when you act with clarity and decisiveness. Like a blade that is kept sheathed until the exact moment it is needed, sharp, precise, and undeniable. Epictetus reminded his students, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Your controlled response is embodiment in action. Imagine this. Someone makes a cutting remark in front of others. You don't react immediately. You let the room settle, and then you respond calmly, with firmness, not aggression. That contrast, measured calm against their recklessness, instantly shifts the power in your favor. Everyone present remembers it because control is more intimidating than chaos. The Stoics knew that anger is a form of slavery. Whoever provokes you controls you, unless you decide otherwise. So when you learn to respond with proportionate power, you stop being a puppet pulled by other people's strings. You become the one holding them. And that is why restraint, not rage, earns respect that lasts. The fourth Stoic tactic that earns deep respect is the discipline of guarding your image. Now, the Stoics didn't chase appearances or vanity. They weren't concerned with showing off wealth, status, or popularity, but they understood that how you carry yourself, the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you handle adversity, creates a reputation that can either elevate you or destroy you. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, constantly reminded himself in his meditations not to fall into arrogance. He knew that people were always watching, not just his decisions, but the way he conducted himself as a man. The Stoic lesson here is simple. Reputation isn't built in grand moments. It's built in the everyday details. Respect comes not just from what you achieve, but from how you present your character to the world. Think about your own life. People form judgments quickly, often within seconds. If you are sloppy with your words, careless with your commitments, or reckless with your emotions, people may never say it to your face, but they're forming an image of you. And once that image hardens, it is extremely difficult to change. The Stoics teach us that we don't control what others think, but we do control our actions, and our actions shape perception. Guarding your image doesn't mean being fake. It means being deliberate. It means understanding that self-respect is the root of public respect. If you respect your own time, others will too. If you treat your principles as non-negotiable, people will recognize your integrity. If you remain calm when others panic, people will look to you as a source of stability. Here's the practical side. Protect your name, your word, and your presence. Don't waste energy trying to impress everyone, but never act in a way that undermines your own dignity. Seneca warned that we often suffer more from our own imagination than from reality. If you act beneath your values, you will not only damage how others see you, you will erode how you see yourself. And once self-respect is gone, no external respect can replace it. The Stoics didn't need to shout who they were. Their conduct spoke for them, and that's exactly why their wisdom has lasted for centuries. Guard your image by guarding your character, and you'll discover that respect is not something you demand, it's something you embody. The fifth Stoic tactic that makes people respect you is the ability to read people without rushing to judge them. Epictetus taught that we are disturbed not by events themselves, but by the opinions we form about them. The same principle applies to people. Quick judgments reveal insecurity. Careful observation reveals strength. Most people listen only to respond. They're too busy preparing their next move to actually notice what's in front of them. The Stoic approach is different. Slow down, observe, and understand before acting. This doesn't just give you insight into others, it gives you control over yourself. By refusing to be dragged into assumptions, you see people as they are, not as your emotions paint them. In practice, this means paying attention to body language, tone of voice, and the small inconsistencies that most people miss. It means withholding judgment until you have enough clarity to act with wisdom. And when you do respond, your words and actions carry weight because they're based on perception, not impulse. Respect grows when others sense that you're not quick to condemn, but steady in your understanding. People trust those who observe more than they react, and in a world full of noise, the ability to quietly read a room without announcing it gives you an aura of calm authority, the kind of authority the Stoics mastered. The Stoics knew that respect cannot be demanded, it must be earned, and it is earned not by force but by discipline, silence that shows control, consistency that builds trust, measured responses that reveal strength, guarding your image through daily conduct, reading people carefully instead of judging impulsively. These 5 tactics are not tricks. They are habits of character. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his meditations to impress the world. He wrote them to discipline himself. Seneca didn't share wisdom to appear clever. He did it to sharpen his own life. Epictetus didn't teach philosophy to manipulate people. He taught it so that we could master ourselves. And when you master yourself, respect follows naturally. So remember, power isn't in noise, anger, or appearances. True power is quiet, steady, and undeniable. Live by these Stoic tactics, and you won't have to chase respect. You'll embody it. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you want to dive deeper into Stoic wisdom, check out the next video I've linked here. It will give you more tools to live with clarity, discipline, and strength. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay calm, and keep living with Stoic strength.